Welcome to the Brent Daniels Real Estate Live Show. Thank you for participating. Today, we're talking about sales velocity. Remember this, time kills all deals. Time kills all deals. So one, we have to be very, very fast with our leads. But what about when we're planning? What about when we're putting together our business plan? This is the difference between amateurs and pros. Right? I see amateurs every single year repeat the same year. Talked about this last night, Luke, right? I talked about it when I was speaking at the RIA, that it's like Groundhog Year, year after year after year. And there's not those incremental giant scaling where it's the hockey stick of your income because we're not tracking our numbers. And the reason I think that most people don't track their numbers is they don't know what to track, right? If you knew what to track, it makes it pretty easy. So we're going to break that down today, and then we're going to look at why businesses make certain decisions based on their marketing budget, based on their business philosophy, based on what kind of exit strategies they want to use, okay? So let's start with this. This is something that is absolutely critical for you to track is how many leads per month are you getting? How many leads per month, okay? And then from there, how many leads per deal? How many of these leads actually turn into a closed deal? Like this is you actually received income. This isn't you put a property under contract and then, for some reason it didn't work out because of title issues, or maybe you ran the wrong numbers or whatever else. How many actually did you close? And then what is your average that you make per deal? All right. This is easy stuff, right, guys? How many leads? How many does it take you to get paid? And how much do you get paid? Right. And then, this is when it starts getting really interesting. What is the sales cycle of these leads? And this is what this part right here, guys. Ooh, this is where we get trapped. This is the one that we don't really understand, don't really recognize. And after today's show, you will, and you're going to be able to make really, really, really smart revenue projections. Okay, but it starts with understanding how many leads per month, how many leads per deal, what's your average per deal. If you are in the chat and you are brave, put these numbers in here. How many leads are you getting? How many leads per deal? And what's the average that you're making per deal? Okay, put it in the chat. I'm very curious. And we can put your information in here. But this sales cycle here, so let me give you an example. Let me break this down for my business right now with our pay-per-click leads. This is real numbers. I just checked this with my dad, who is my CFO. Shout out Dave Daniels, handsomest guy in town. And with Jackie Thornburg, my lead manager. She tracks all my stuff. Leads per month right now, we're at about 200 leads per month from PPC. That's pay per click. That's people going to our website, filling in that information. Now, how many leads do we need per deal? It is 22. Interestingly enough, leads per contract is closer to 15, but we have about a 30% cancellation rate. And that cancellation rate comes from my acquisition managers kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit, inventory changing in our market. So areas are getting really, really a lot tighter, and we have to go and renegotiate or cancel the deals, or for the most part, it's title issues. There's just some title issues that we have. But true, pure numbers, 22 leads per deal. Our average right now is about $30,000 per deal. That's in 2025. This is an increase from 2024, which was around 22,000. And I'll explain why we got an $8,000 increase this year, and it's going to be exciting. I'll tell you that. And our sales cycle, guys, is 56 days. And this is important to know. What is the sales cycle? People take this all different. Some people say it's the time you get the contract to the time that it closes. I don't care about that because that'll screw up your revenue projections. What I'm looking at is from the first initial contact to close, to actually getting paid. How many days is that? That's on average 56 days. And I'll tell you this, the only reason that this is 56 days is because of probate. It's because we deal with a lot of inherited properties that need some untangling done. And that's why this has really pushed that out. There's some outliers that do that. I would say for clean, no title issues, I wouldn't even say it's half this. It's 28 days. 28 days to close in our sales cycle for pay-per-click leads, right? So really, really interesting stats here. Guys, put in the chat, what are your stats? Now, here's where we run into some issues, right? Well, the issues that we run into, and I put some, is if it takes you on average with our business, I'll just go here, with our business with cold calling or TTP, right? TTP or cold calling, with text message, for cold calling and text message, it was 120 days sales cycle. Okay, so that's really important to know. Now with PPC, we're looking at a 56 days sales cycle. So what does this mean? Well, this means a couple different things. Number one, when you're starting out any new marketing channel, you have to understand the sales cycle of that marketing channel, because if you don't, you're going to disappoint yourself. Because day one is the day that you start this new marketing channel, all right? And if it takes you 120 days to close your first deal, then all of a sudden it starts closing every month that way because you're consistent. But you have to be consistent for this 120 days. If you're not consistent, if you start fooling around, if you start stopping and starting different marketing channels and doing all this crazy stuff, you're going to have so much turbulence in your business. So you have to understand the sales cycle here before you start getting to consistency, because when you talk to a lead on this day, you're not getting paid for another 120 days. So who you talk to today on a cold call, you're getting paid 120 days from now. Does that make sense to everybody? Put in the chat one or flames or a rhino or yes or whatever it is. This is what it takes you to get to the consistency. And then once you get to the consistency, you have to stay consistent with your efforts. You have to make sure that you're getting the same amount of leads or more in your pipeline to be able to get real projections. This is the problem that we run into, is we don't understand the sales cycle. Now, with inbound leads like a pay-per-click, now our direct mail is closer to about, it looks like 90 days is direct mail. 90 days for direct mail because people sit on that longer. PPL was about 75 days here. And so you have to understand for PPL. So if you're starting any of these new marketing channels, you have to take into account how long it's going to take before you start building momentum, before you start getting to that momentum. And then once you're at that momentum, you have to keep the same amount of leads per month. So then how do we get better? How do we make more? How do we really squeeze the most out of all of our efforts? It really comes down to these 5 factors. All right, these 5 factors right here. What is the quality of the leads that we're receiving? The issue that I had, the reason I went from outbound to inbound is for cold calling, it was 1 out of 70. I was 1 out of 70 here. Leads per deal. It was 70 leads per deal for cold calling, as opposed to 22 leads per deal for pay-per-click. Now, obviously, the cost per lead was lower, but it was more leads per deal. That's something that you can expect when you are doing outbound. The cheaper the lead, the more leads you need to be able to get a deal closed. That is an absolute fact. So make sure that you're taking that into account here. All right. So what is the quality of your leads? Can you get higher quality leads so you need less leads per deal, right? Next is your sales process. This is where the rubber meets the road, baby. This is where the true skills lie, in the discovery process. When we speak to a property owner and they say, yes, they want to sell their house, all of a sudden this stranger that we never knew before, it metamorphosizes into something that's called a lead. Oh, somebody that has actually made the decision that they're going to sell their property. That's what a lead is. Okay? A lead is somebody that is actually going to sell their property, right? And once we have that lead, what is the sales process that we're going through? Are we getting in front of these people as soon as possible? Are we really deep diving in the discovery process? Are we just throwing a price at them and being like, that's our price, take it or leave it, right? It is all important here to make sure that our sales process is super tight. Our discovery process is super tight. What is the condition, timeline, motivation, and price of this property owner? Right? Those are the four main factors that we're looking for. That's the four main pillars that we need to understand what is the quality of this lead. And then from there, we can understand what is the best exit strategy for that lead based on the discovery process. The discovery process answers one question. What is your goal with this property? What's your goal? What is your goal? Are you looking for speed and convenience? Are you looking for convenience and price? Are you looking for price and speed? It just depends. You only get to pick two. Sellers only get to pick two, right? There's speed, convenience, and price. And you only get to pick two, right? In this market. And so that helps us determine what strategy we go for to squeeze the most out of every lead. If we don't need as many leads per deal because we have different exit strategies, or the different exit strategies increase our average amount that we make per deal. This is why we get seduced by flips. This is why we get seduced by novations. By the way, we got Rich Wonders, the novation king, coming in here in 17 minutes. And he's going to be breaking down his process. He's going to be breaking down his numbers here, which is going to be very, very, very interesting, right? But that's going to affect your average per deal. That's going to increase your revenue projection. If you can make more per deal and you need less leads per deal, and you get more leads per month, this is how you scale. All of these factors is how you scale, right? But you have to understand, what is the sales cycle? When you are starting a new marketing channel, what is the sales cycle? And I'm just telling you, rule of thumb, if you're going outbound, if you're going door knocking, cold calling, it's 120 days. You're going texting, 120 days. If you're going more inbound, direct mail, 90 days. You're going inbound paper lead, 75 days. You're going pay-per-click, 56 days or shorter. A lot of them we're doing in 28 days, which is half of that, right? So this matters as to what your budget looks like. Because if it takes you 120 days, what is your budget for those first 120 days? Can you make it that far? If it's 56 days for pay-per-click, are you making it that far to get those leads day one to the day that you actually close that deal? Do you have enough budget set aside to be able to take that on? Right? These are the decisions that we have to make. And then from there, what is our strategy to increase the average amount that we make per deal? Right? We're going to make more innovations than wholesale. We're going to make more in flips than wholesale, right? Typically, just depends. But typically, you're going to be making more there. So are you squeezing the most out of this? The exit strategies matter. There's only these exit strategies. You can send it to an agent or represent them as an agent, and they can sell retail. You can do innovation. You can flip that property. You can keep it in your portfolio, or it's a wholesale deal, right? It's a wholesale deal. Next process is, how's your follow-up? What's your follow-up like? Are you just coming in, this lead's coming in and you're closing it, and if they're ready to rock and roll now, great. If not, they fall apart, right? This for some reason, follow-up for some reason is like this really tough, difficult thing. And I think the reason why is because we fall in love with leads and we don't want to be disappointed. We think that leads are this warm blanket that makes us feel so good because we have all this potential, right? But if we don't squeeze it out, if we don't do the follow-up, if we don't get in front of them, if they're ghosting us and we're not following up and following up and following up, it takes 12 times on average of follow-up to get that deal. This really matters. And the last one is your reputation, right? What is your reputation in the marketplace? Are you getting testimonials? Are you getting beat out by people that have Google reviews? Are you getting beat out by people that say, yeah, I like Brent, but he doesn't respond to me really fast. He doesn't give me fast answers. He's good and he closes deals, but he's not the best at communication. This matters. We have to be fast at communication. We have to have the strongest reputation when it comes to referrals, when it comes to getting testimonials, when it comes to getting Google reviews. This is big business type work here, okay? This is big boy, big girl work here to make sure that we're getting all of these things and increasing all of these things so that our sales velocity increases and we can increase our revenue projection. But remember, you have to set aside. You have to set aside and understand what your sales cycle is, because you have to have the budget. You're not going to, and then you got to be consistent with your marketing. Because if you're not consistent with your marketing, you stop today, you're not getting paid 120 days from now with your cold calling. You stop today with PPC, you're not getting paid in 56 days. Right? You stop all of the, once you stop a marketing channel, all of a sudden your momentum's gone. Your momentum is gone. And that's going to affect your business. That's going to affect the projection that you make every single, throughout the year. And so we got to make sure that we have enough budget to make it through the sales cycle. And we have to make sure that we're staying consistent with that marketing. And then from there, how can we increase the average that we make per deal? That's why people say freshman is, wholesale, sophomores flipping, junior is building your portfolio, and seniors development and all these other things, is because it's just how much you make per deal. What's your average income per deal on these things, right? And so to increase this, we've looked at doing flips. We've looked at doing some more flips this year, taking some more off of the board, but it screws it all up. Why do flips screw up our business here? Because we're used to getting paid in between 28 and 56 days, and now you have to add another 120 days on to the flip. 120 days. We're going to ask Rich Wonders what the average cycle is for his novations, but I would say it's at least 90 days on top. Right? From the initial contact, putting it on the market, getting an offer, getting it closed. It's probably an additional, maybe it's 60 days. But if it's 120 days, you're taking that money off of the table. And if you're taking that money off of the table to do a flip, are you taking the money off of the table that is going to pay for your marketing? And then it's going to screw up your momentum. We see it all the time. We see very successful people that stop marketing channels because they're doing flips. They got all their money tied up into a flip. And they don't understand what the sales cycle is because they're trying to increase this, but they're not doing it effectively, right? You got to make sure that your marketing is consistent. Make sure you know how fast you can get your money back out of it. Make sure that you have enough in your account before you start making some decisions to do some flips. So my suggestion in all of this is wholesale as much as you possibly can. Understand how many leads per month that you're getting, how many leads per deal you are getting to, what's your average income per deal, what's your sales cycle, and that'll help you to predict your revenue. Mike, do you have questions on this? Does it make sense? Am I hitting this? Is this making sense from Luke, do you get this? You get this? Guys, are we having some questions here? Let's get in here a little bit. All right, good. So guys, that is the breakdown that you really want to look at. How many, and I think we've got it. Can we put this up, Matt? Add the stage here. Go back to the first one or the second one. There it is. right? How many opportunities? What's the deal value? What's your win rate over the length of your sales cycle determines your sales velocity. Your sales velocity is going to help you to predict your revenue for the year. And then if you have a projection for your revenue, it's not just some pie in the sky number that you're just pulling out of nowhere. It is something that you have to shoot for. Does that make sense? Yeah, let me see Caden's. Caden's got, let's remove this. March 21st to date, I have 67 leads, and that has led to 3 contracts. Haven't been tracking anything else. I need to, just started getting solid leads on March 21st. All right, so you just started getting leads. About 20 leads to a contract now, but 1 fell because it was too remote. Fantastic. Guys, this is really important to understand, because we look at like, well, what if we go nationwide? What if we go and get cheaper leads in the middle of nowhere? Is that a better strategy than staying in the market that I'm in a major market? Right? Like this equation right here is what really helps you determine what your strategy should be moving forward. Right? Because just for instance, what if you were only getting, you were getting a bunch of inexpensive leads, but it was you were closing a deal every 50 leads. Let's say it's every 50 leads you get a deal, and that deal is only worth $10,000, right? The deal's worth $10,000, and it's going to take you 90 days to close that. And then you look at what is the cost per lead. That's the last little factor here. Let me go back here, Matt. This is what's going to determine your strategy and your profitability, because revenue projection is fantastic, but what is your cost per lead? I don't even have more on here. What's your cost per lead? Right? How much does it cost you to get one of these? It's really, really, really important to know, right? Ours is like $300. It's like 60 grand to get 200 leads, right? And so converting it, you could look at the numbers here and work it backwards to really understand what that looks like. But if we need, that's 9 deals. I'm doing 9 deals per month. 9 deals per month equals on 30,000 is $270,000 per month, and it's costing me $60,000 to do that. And then you look at, okay, well then what are the other costs involved? Well, I've got the salaries of my sales guys. I've got the commissions of the sales guys. I've got operating and overhead. And typically, guys, what you want is, in a perfect world, let me see if I can find any blank page. I'm going to use them all up. Aha! Here we go. In a perfect world, your business is, marketing is about 25% of your gross income. Your staff is 25% of your income. And then your operating is 10%. And then your net profit is 40%. So you need to get a 1 to 4 here, but you also have to understand the sales cycle. If you're starting a new marketing campaign, there's going to be a lag before you start earning that income. And so if it's something like PPL or direct mail or cold calling or door knocking or text message marketing, understand it's a 3 to 4 month process. Pay-per-click's the fastest. Referrals are even faster, right? They're ready to go now. Or if you want, go make some offers on the MLS. MLS offers usually go a little bit faster just because they, if they're ready to go, they're ready to go. I mean, it's a listed property. You just have to talk to a lot of people. And so this is the balancing act. Do we keep a low budget and we go super gritty, nitty, and we go after very specific, like high motivation people that we reach out to on a regular basis that doesn't cost us much and the profits are big, but the sales cycle's longer? Or do we put the money in to get our sales cycle down and move it faster? These are the decisions we have to make. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? Yeah. Locked in. PhD today. Who put that? Somebody says PhD. There you go. This is the wholesaling PhD class on Wednesday. It truly is. Thank you for participating, guys. For everybody that's on here, thank you for jumping on. We'll have Rich Wonder. He might have pulled up yet. I haven't heard his car yet, so he must not be here yet. But guys, really, 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 you have to make sure that you're tracking how many leads per deal. How many leads per deal? How long does it take you to close those deals, right? How long does it take you to do that? Because we need to understand the sales velocity. With our Rhino Tribe in the mentorship group, every 90 days, we have an action workshop here in my office. Guys, everybody that's here in the Rhino Tribe, and I talked about it yesterday on our support call, we need to understand our sales velocity for our meeting coming up on May 15th and 16th. We need to understand that because then we can know what to tweak. What do we tweak? Do we tweak? Matt, go to slide 3 on here. Oh, no, it was right there. Yeah. Do we need to tweak the quality of leads that we're getting? Is it a quality issue? Are we hiring VAs that are sending us anything and we have to sort through? With us, it was 1 out of 70 leads from our VAs was a deal from cold calling and texting. So you have to sift through all of that. So how do you get better quality? Well, you train your people better. You get better lists. How about that? How about you get a better, more high intent lists? Maybe you go to realsupermarket.com. You tell Achut to give you some banging lists. What I would suggest is you go to them and you say, hey, listen, I want all the tax defaults in my area that have been tax default for a minimum of 2 years and they're single family houses. Oh, by the way, he gives you that 35 cents an address. Woo! Could you get a deal if you get 1,000 of those? Could you get a deal if you get 100 of those? If you spent $35 and you got obsessed with 100 single-family houses that owed 2 years or more on their property taxes, could you get some more deals? You know it. Could you be better on your discovery process? Could you get deeper? Could you get into the nitty-gritty and really understand what is that property owner's goal? Can you increase the amount of exit strategies you have? Rich Wonder's in the house. I'll bring you up in just a second here. In the different exit strategies, should you implement flipping? Right? Should you take a couple of these properties off of the wholesale market, put it into your flip bucket, and make $70K as opposed to $30K? Oh, by the way, I had a conversation with JP over at Kiavi. They are a hard money lender, nationwide hard money lender. If you're experienced, this isn't for everybody, but if you've done some flips, you've done some deals, you kind of grease the wheels a little bit with them. You know what I mean? You give them a little bit of love, let them know that you're not some knucklehead. 100%, they'll fund 100%, Rich, purchase price, 100% of your rehab budget, as long as it's under 75%. 75% ARV, right? It's tight. I mean, there's, you have to get really good deals. 100. Woo! And in Arizona, no points. $1,000 doc fee. What are we talking about? Now we're cooking, guys. How's your follow-up process? Are you making sure nothing slips through the cracks? Are you making sure that you understand what your hot leads, your warm leads, your cold leads are? Hot leads are somebody that's going to sign an agreement in the next 30 days. Warm leads is between 30 and 90 days, and the cold leads is 90 days plus. And are you building your reputation? Do people review you positively? Are you getting good Google reviews? Are you getting good testimonials? Do you have a good standing in our industry? Those are the things that are going to increase the amount of money you make. And the more money you make, the more that you can go and buy assets. And the more assets that you buy, the quicker that you can get out of the rat race. And the quicker you get out of the rat race, then you can start your garden, or you could start painting, or you could start your charity, or you could just take a pilgrimage, or you could whatever, spend more time with your knucklehead kids, whatever you want to do. But that's the whole point of this thing, right? Is to control the time that we have left. Not only control the time that we have left, but also control the things that we want out of life. And that's a whole different type of control, right? But we don't really realize that until we really build ourselves up personally. And nothing will affect your personal development more than being a business owner. Business owner equals personal development. So congratulations if you're in the grind. Congratulations if you're there just making calls and getting screamed at, and knocking on doors and being in the heat, and having a deal fall out, or thinking that somebody that sent you the deal it really originated that deal, but they're just daisy chaining that deal and it's already sold months ago, and then it's this disappointment. Great. It all adds to the accumulation effect, baby. The accumulation effect is every person you talk to, every offer that you make, every experience that you have as an entrepreneur builds you into a stronger person. I am telling you. So go frickin' bananas. And with that, I'm going to ring this victory bell, because nobody deserves it more than this man right here. Coming up, he's going to spit some game at you, Mr. Richard Wonders.
What's up, Doc?
How are you?
Good, man. It's great to see you.
Pull that in here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Pull that in here with some awkward hugs. Perfect.
Yeah.
There we go. So, Rich, Novation King, right?
Yeah, man.
How many novations?
Oh,
You want to move this a little bit too?
man. Definitely 500 plus.
Okay.
Quite a few, man. We've been doing about 3.5 years.
Can I get on this board and break down? You can walk me through your stats here, and we can explain the power of novations.
Sure, let's do it.
All right. So right here, I got you a blank. Okay. About how many leads per month do you get in your business? And talking to the microphone and pull that towards you here. Yep.
Man. To be honest, I don't even know, man. If I had to guess, let's see, 30 days, maybe like 400.
400 leads?
Dude, I don't know, man. I'm bad with the stat stuff. I mean, I'm probably getting between 10 and 20 a day, something like that.
And these
maybe
are referrals?
25. Yeah, referrals.
All referrals.
Not all referrals. We have TTP.
Yeah, we got pay-per-click.
Leads.
Yep.
We got about 3 different PPC companies we work with.
Yep.
A couple JV partners that send them on a regular basis.
Yep.
Maybe more like 20 to 30 a day, something like that.
So 600?
Yeah.
600 leads. Do you know how many leads you need per deal? Closed deal.
I would say it ranges between 10 and 20.
Okay, let's go high end. 20. So that's 30 deals per month.
Yeah.
What is the average that you make per deal?
About 35.
Okay.
Because we get some Whoppers, we get some chicken nuggets, and then most of them fall between the 25 to 35, 40 range.
Sales cycle.
How
the first time you talk to them to the day that you get paid?
On the good ones, 60 days, and on the bad ones, a lot longer. So I would say probably 70 to 80 days on average.
From first contact to close.
Yeah, we lock them up normally pretty quick, normally within the first week.
And then you get them on the market quick.
And then we get them on the market quick.
You get them sold.
And it's 60 days.
All the way down. So call it 80 days?
Yeah.
80 days. Absolutely incredible. What do you guys think of that? So talk to me about this. Talk to me about how you get I mean, obviously, real quick, out of these leads, how many of these are referrals? Out of the 20 a day, how many are referrals?
Probably like 12 to 15.
Okay, got it. So that is 450 of them.
Yeah.
And then about 150 from marketing.
Yep.
Yeah? Yeah, that seems right. 450. So how did you build up 450 referrals a month?
Man, so it started by me going live every day on Instagram and just doing my calls.
Tell them. Yep.
So that's where it really started. And I would literally just lock up deals every day and tell people to send in their leads. Like in the beginning, it was just like DM me your leads.
Yeah.
And once that got to a point where it was hard to manage, then I eventually got some help and got a website.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started making like reels talking about the closed deals. But I would say I would attribute going live and doing the calls on there is like the big thing that really helped me. Probably like 2.5 years, something like that.
2.5 years.
Because that was like the one thing I could bring that I could set myself apart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because in the beginning, when you're making reels and stuff, like no one cares. They're like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you start Richard Wonder? Because you're Novation King.
Right. That came later. I was Richard Wonders buys houses at first.
Awesome.
So
yeah.
And I got that because I saw someone in the comments section that was like another name buys houses. And I was like, oh, cool. Let me do that. And I just basically copied it. And then once I got heavy into novations, there was a time where I went and just checked to see if the name was available. It was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I'm the Novation King. It was just a self-proclaimed, and I probably had no business at the time calling myself that yet. You know, I'd had some novations under my belt, but
what's the best? Is it Novation JV?
NovationJV.com.
NovationKing.com, Novation JV.
NovationJV.com will take them right there. There's a couple different URLs that we have, but that's the easiest one to
make
remember.
It a banner. JV.com. And how does that work?
So basically the wholesalers just submit their lead. Me and my team reach out to them and show them how to connect us with the seller. And we go on a 3-way call with them and the seller. We do our discovery call, and then basically we completely take over the deal from there.
Yeah.
They get 40%. We do all the work, and we just keep them in. It's a done for you solution. So we keep them in the loop with what's going on.
Yeah.
But we pretty much do everything.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So people are coming to you because they're wholesalers, because they're agents, because they don't understand novations. They don't understand the pitch. They don't understand how to communicate this. Like, why don't they just do these deals themselves?
Right. It's a variety of reasons, but I would say a good portion of them have done novations.
Yeah.
But it's just not their main thing.
Right.
And it's kind of like fix and flipping. You know, people might ask a wholesaler, well, why don't you just fix and flip all these? But everybody kind of has their lane, and we're set up for novation. So we're used to the longer cycle. I've got the capital to put in the deals. We put out the fires and, you know, deal with all the drama that comes with them, because it is more drama than wholesale deals.
Sure.
You got to keep the seller happy for 2 months. You know what I mean? You got to deal with the agents, inspections, repairs. You got to put money out to help them move, to, you know, to fix up the house.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think some people initially will send them because they either don't know how to do it, or they're already bandwidth is eaten up.
Yeah.
But I think why people continue to do that, because a lot of our business is repeat business, is it's just we're the easy button, and it's just like a revenue stream that's very low effort. You know what I mean? Like once they get the first check, it's like, hey, let's do this again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, listen, if a property is, in my experience, it's been a lot of the outskirt properties where there's not a lot of cash buyers, and it's got to be able to qualify for a conventional loan. So it can't be like these totally destroyed, beat up hoarder houses. Those people typically want cash anyway. They just want to be done with it. But these are people that want more than our cash offer typically, and they don't want to deal with it.
Right.
Right. They want convenience, but they also want a higher price.
Correct. And the most important thing, because we do deal with some messed up houses too, but there just has to be enough of a gap between what they're asking and what it'll sell for quickly.
Yep.
And the main thing that's a deterrent is if they need a quick timeline, if they need to close in like 30 days or less, or really less than 2 months, novation's kind of off the table.
Hey, Matt, can you put it 2 slides? Keep going. Next. There. This is what I think of when I think of novation. They want convenience and price.
Yep.
Right? If they want speed and convenience, we just lock it up cash as is.
For sure.
Right?
Yep.
Because it's a lot. You're closing it now. They want to close in 5 days. You're not doing a novation.
Yeah, there's no way.
Right. But if they want a higher price and they want the convenience of not having to hire a real estate agent, not having to do the little repair or inspection item repairs, not have to get the property ready to, get the highest amount that they possibly can for it, that's when people decide to do a novation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if they have like immediate needs too, like, because a lot of these deals, the way we get it is they need help moving. They, you know what I mean? They need money up front as well. So
yeah.
Yep.
Got it. Love it. And so do you do any wholesales or you just do a novation?
We wholesale everything that we possibly can.
Oh, talk to me.
But
How does that work? So people send you referrals for novations and you wholesale them?
some of them we do.
How does that work?
If there's any possible way to wholesale it, we always prefer to go that route because it's quicker, it's easier, it's cleaner. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, most of them we end up having to novate just because there's no way to wholesale them.
Yeah.
So we kind of everything that doesn't fit in the wholesale funnel, we have to go the other route.
I love it. So what is are there any states that are clamping down on novation? What's the risk? What's the general, vibe out there for novations in some of these states? What states can't you do it? And I guess that's the main question. What states can't you novate in?
South Carolina, I'm totally hands off with novations. Oregon, I don't touch. I don't really get a lot of leads there anyways, but I don't know if they're going to categorize that in the same bucket as wholesaling. Yeah. So I just stay away from it. Other than those two, I mean, we do them in all the places where wholesale is normally dicey. Besides that, like we do them in Illinois, Oklahoma, we do them, New York, we do them, North Carolina, we do them. We just did one in Hawaii not too long ago.
Awesome.
But yeah, those are really the only 2 big ones right now. But I don't know. There's been some changes, and we'll see what happens. We definitely want to stay on the right side of the law.
You projecting anything? Is there any?
No. I don't want to manifest anything.
Yeah, sure.
But I've seen some things going down recently, and that's one reason why it's so important to make sure the sellers are happy throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Happy people don't. The majority of the laws and things come from outlying cases where someone got done wrong.
Sure.
And they left unhappy. So
yeah, got it. So what makes a novation fall out of escrow or get canceled, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I assume there's a fallout rate.
Oh yeah.
Do you know if you sign up 100 novation deals, how many of those actually close?
So we try to have all the fallout happens before it actually hits the market.
Sure.
Because that's the cleanest way and the least painful way for everybody involved. And out of the ones we sign, I would say maybe like a third of them fall out before they hit the market.
Perfect. So you're 67% are you're gonna get them out there.
Correct.
Do those close?
Most of those close. I would say maybe 80 to 90% of those close.
We'll go 80% of that. Yeah. Okay. Got it. So you got 67 and then you got 80% of that. So you've got, you're sitting probably about 50%.
Overall, yeah. For the ones that we signed to actually close, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
that's pretty accurate.
So
sometimes more.
What makes 50% of them fall out?
Oh, man. So the big one is the condition being worse once we show up. So once we get the realtor there, we find out a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And we deal in a lot of smaller markets too, where there's less data. So it's hard to predict things. And sometimes the easiest way is to just do the best you can with the data you have and get the realtor out there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everything's going to come out once someone actually walks it. And it's not really worth having someone walk it unless you secured it under contract.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll have other things like the ones that fall out during escrow. we have buyers that fall out, and then it just, I mean, that's the worst thing in the world because it just extends the time. And the important thing with this is moving quick, because otherwise they'll just use a realtor. You know what I mean? But sometimes there'll be title issues. Sometimes there'll be personal issues with the seller where they change their mind. They don't want to sell. And with those, we try to keep them on the hook as best we can. But if someone just legitimately doesn't want to sell, I'm not going to take them to court and try to force their hand. Like it's got to be a win-win. So yeah,
love it. And you're building in what percentage makes sense? I think you mentioned before, like 80% of ARV is kind of the sweet spot. So you want to be for your initial purchase agreement with them, or is it lower now?
Well, we use current condition value. So we try to find the most similar ones that sold quickly.
Okay.
And if there aren't any that sold quickly, we know they have to be cheaper than the ones that took a long time to sell.
Yeah.
Then we go 90% of that to kind of account for realtors, closing costs, and any little miscellaneous. And then there has to be at least like a $30,000 profit.
Okay.
Because if you go any less than that, you can run into trouble, because you end up doing a bunch of work and 20,000 can turn into 10,000 or 5,000 or no thousand.
Yeah. So let me look at this. I don't really have. I kind of used up all these. Matt, do we have another one? Luke, can you give me another one of these guys so that we can break this thing down and look at this so that we have a good idea of what expectations. And guys, again, if you want to work with Rich to knock these out. Oh, I guess I could just use the freaking whiteboard that's behind this thing. Anyway, go to novationjv.com. So we've got, you've got as is value. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
As is value. And so that's the top of your equation, right?
Yep.
And then what do you do?
Times 0.9.
Times 90%. Okay. Equals, okay.
And then your max allowable is minus 30,000.
Minus 30,000 from here.
Yes.
Okay.
And you want to get as far below that as you can, but that's the brick wall, is the 30,000 number. Yeah.
Yeah. So the as is value is you're looking for, not veil. The as is value, you're looking at a similar comparable property.
Exactly.
So you're like, okay, that's a dated house. It sold for 300,000.
Exactly.
But the fixed up ones go for 375.
Exactly.
You throw those out.
Don't even, I don't worry about them. I account for it in my mind, but it's not part of the equation.
Do you get a realtor to give you this number?
No. So we have the realtors give us their opinion once it's under contract, but there's no realtor involved while we're evaluating them normally.
So you come up with this.
Exactly.
Okay. And then you go 90%. So then you're at 270 here.
Yep.
270,000. And then you're at 240 is your max allowable offer on this. Isn't that tight? That feels tight. You don't put any repairs in here for this? You don't do any, like, maybe they want concessions when you sell it. Maybe they want, you know what I mean? Like this 10%, I assume you're taking off for realtor costs and some of the fix up and concessions and that type of thing, right?
Yeah, and we do very minimal fix up too. So it's normally a lot of them we don't put any money into, but the ones we put money into, it might be 2,000, 3,000, up to 5,000. Oh, sorry, up to 5,000, but 5,000 is kind of, it's got to be a pretty sweet deal for us to spend more than that.
Right.
So yes, a $30,000 deal is about as tight as we can stand. So we try to get it as far below that as possible. But there's people out there, like, they hit me up and they're doing a deal where if everything goes right, they're making 15 grand. Mm-hmm. And that's scary. Yeah.
That's tight.
There's a good chance it won't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
But, for it to be the 30,000 too, we got to be pretty solid on the numbers. You know what I mean?
Are you anchoring at 200,000 and then coming up to 240?
So we do ranges, but we're naming all the low cash comps, and the low cash comps are going to be sub to 200 normally, like in this scenario, and we're doing a range.
200, not sub 2.
Exactly. Yeah. Below 200,000.
Right, yeah.
Yep. So, like my range, if I'm trying to go for 240, my range is going to be like 160 to 190.
Yeah.
But it's a tentative range.
Yeah.
And then I mean, it just really depends on what the data supports too.
Sure.
If there's ones lower than that, I'm going to go lower because like my anchor, it needs to crush the whole frame, shatter the frame, and have them thinking about fighting up from that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we anchor as low as we can, and then that gives them more room to win by talking.
But really, your threshold here is 80% of the as-is value. That's what this looks like because you're, if you're at 300,000 for this is 10%.
It just gets skewed at the lower and the higher ends of things. But we want to make like a 10 to 20% profit normally.
Yeah,
like at that price range.
Okay. So the real question that a lot of people have is, well, how do you explain that to the property owner? Why wouldn't the property owner just get a real estate agent and just sell it for 300,000,
right?
And not for these other numbers?
Well, the thing is they're looking for a cash offer, right? So all the people we talk to, they're already motivated sellers. So they know they're going to sell. They've already most of the time made up their mind. They don't want to go with the realtor. So while we're negotiating from a cash offer perspective.
Love it.
Not from a novation perspective. So we have to close that door first before they're open to the alternative. And the way we would negotiate is like, I tell my guys, I'm like, look, if they want a cash offer, you need to negotiate to a number that I'd actually buy it at. And I'm buying it like 50 cents on the dollar. So like, if that's not an option, now they're open to something else. So.
Got it. And are you doing your coaching? Is that still a thing, or did you just absorb that into the JV, Novation JV?
I'll be honest. Most of my focus is on the JV deals,
right?
But I still have my course and community. We actually just did a live last week. So there's people thriving in there. And the program I sell is literally the exact thing that I train my team with. So, but I don't do like a lot of like private coaching anymore,
right?
Where consult calls and training teams and everything, like all my energy is going towards my team. But I go in our group and I answer questions and all that good stuff.
How do you recruit for your team?
Instagram. My whole business is on Instagram.
It's wild, right?
It's crazy.
It's crazy when you get loud. This is what I'm saying. I tell people every single week.
Yeah,
Rich, I tell them every single week, go into Facebook. Friend request as many people as you can, get to 5,000. Post every single day to your stories. I buy houses. Send me your deals.
Yeah.
You'll do at least 4 free deals this year.
It's wild.
Minimum. Wouldn't you agree?
My wife on Facebook.
Yeah.
I met my first mentor and boss on Instagram.
Yep.
I've recruited my whole team from Instagram. Like pretty much almost every relationship and every dollar I've made in the last 6 years is somehow related to either Facebook or Instagram. It's wild.
Are you doing all the posts yourself?
Everything.
Yeah. How important is it to show the lifestyle?
Oh man.
Because you're up in that high rise 3 times a day or whatever. You know what I mean? Walking around, giving advice, giving just talking, being real.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is important because here's the thing. Like it's easy to put together some reels and have everything scripted, but there's a lot of noise in that. And I think if you genuinely show who you are and what you're about, you'll attract the people that are naturally vibing with you.
That's it.
And yeah, I think it's super important because, I meet people all the time too. And when they talk to me in real life, they're like, dude, like you're just how I would expect you to be, you know, like, yeah, dude, like I just turn on my phone and start talking,
Yeah.
So it's cool. It helps build those connections, and real estate is a trust base and a relationship base. So the better people get to know you, the more comfortable they are with you, and it gets the right people that are going to vibe with you closer, and the people that you're not going to get along with, you know what I mean? It lets them find someone else basically. So
what if they're mean to you though?
Well, then just stop posting and give up.
Yeah.
No, here's the whole thing. Like if you're gonna do anything, it's gonna be polarizing. You're gonna have some people you vibe with, some you don't. And yeah, you get mean comments, but the thing is whenever you click on those profiles, it's always a private page with no post, a cartoon picture.
Sure.
It's very rarely someone that's just killing it. You know what I mean? So you got to just feel for them. Like that's their way to make their mark on the world.
Yeah.
And be heard, for a short moment.
Every time I think about trolls, which is essentially what you're talking about, people that just troll you online and they have axe to grind and or they just it's entertainment. Right. I think of my college roommate. His name is Bennett Taylor. and I love them. But there was a thing called AOL instant message, AIM. Yeah. Back in the day. This is like,
I remember
this was like kind of before social media really blew up. And he would go into these chat groups of dudes looking for young women, right? And he would act like a young woman, right? And he would mess with these guys, and then he would drop like a line, something very, I won't repeat it here, but he'd drop it to be like super gross and like flip it on them. And he thought that was the funniest thing ever. And I was like, why are you wasting your time screwing around with these people online? Why are you messing with people? Yeah. He was just like, oh, it's just fun. Yeah. There's certain people like Bennett Taylor that just find entertainment, and it's whether we choose to engage in that or not.
For sure. And the more you feed the fire, the more they get out of it too. So yeah. I for the most part, I won't engage with it. You know what I mean? Especially if it's just random anonymous people.
So it doesn't hurt your feelings?
I mean, I'm a human being, you know what I mean? But honestly, I don't get a lot of it.
They're not like, you have too many tattoos to be so successful.
I'll get some of that, but it'll be some nerd, you know what I mean? I always just consider the source, but hey, you know, it's also free engagement. You know what I mean? It runs your numbers up, and I'm surprised I don't get more trolls, honestly, with the engagement that I get, but it's cool.
So you're saying you post multiple times a day. You've built your business around this. You're making multi-million dollars a year from just being loud.
Yeah. Just being loud and just being me, basically.
So what outweighs the other? Being loud and getting free deals and having a great reputation and having a bunch of opportunities to meet really great people and connect and build your business, or be sad if somebody is mean to you.
For sure. No, it's totally worth it. And I,
like, be loud out there. Don't be all hidden. Raphael knows. Be loud out there. Don't worry about what other people are saying. Just be loud every single day. I buy properties. I buy houses. I buy houses cash. Send me your deals. Do it every single day and watch what happens. And then document and actually have real conviction about what's going on. Raphael, bring it in. How are you, brother?
Wow. Good to see you. There you go. What's up, brother? How you doing, bro? Good. You're good. Yep.
So, guys, Rich has built his business off of referrals. And the reason that he's so successful is because he actually closes those deals. So if you're interested in learning, when people come on and do these JVs with you, Rich, are they like, I just want to learn this myself, and I want you to like walk me through the process? Like, how much of it are you transparent in the process, or not even transparent, but just available to coach along as you're going through the deal? Or how much is it just, hey, send it to me, don't worry about it, we'll just get it done?
So we keep them.
You know what I mean? Because it can clog up the system if you're constantly having to, kind of slow down to explain why you're doing what you're doing.
Exactly. So it is a done for you solution, not a done with you. So we keep them in the loop with the milestones, but we're not working the deal together. And it's actually better that way for both parties, because it also allows the JV partners to focus on sending us more deals, doing their wholesale deals or their sub 2 deals or whatever their main thing is. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, it was somewhat like almost like a mentorship ride along thing, because it was just me and I needed help with it. So the JV partners like kicked in some of the legwork. Yeah. But no, if they want to learn the process, they're better off just getting the course, because they can just learn it quicker that way too.
How are the PPC leads?
Dude, they're fire.
Yeah.
They're fire. Yeah. We got the first one closing, I think in like the 25th. Yeah. Something like that. But yeah, dude, they've been smoking. Jesse's a killer. He's awesome to work with. Yeah. You know what I mean? I love the communication.
How are those deals different for your team coming in versus the referral deals that you're joint venturing with people?
Man, I mean, the big thing is we're starting from scratch with them, which, in some cases is a good thing, depending on how the JV partner handled it, right?
Sure.
But the JV deals are nice too, because when there is good rapport, then that transfers over and they're more pre-sorted.
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, out of all the lead sources besides JV, like PPC is the king. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Better than anything, cold calling, mailers, anything, because they're raising their hand.
Do you have an idea of how many leads from PPC to a deal yet?
It depends on the source, and it depends on how it's being marketed. I don't know. I'd have to talk to Jesse for the ones that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, on average in the past, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 15, something like that.
For 30,000, you make 30,000 on those deals on average.
Our first deal with you guys, I think we're making 28.
Yeah.
So and it's in Alabama, smaller
get
town.
Some bigger deals.
I know, dude.
We just closed one in Yuma. It was going to be about a $5,000 to $7,000 wholesale assignment fee. It turned out to be a $42,000 because we went down the innovation route.
That's killer.
So I mean, you're right, like right on the money as far as like the spread that you can tack onto a deal.
Yeah,
it's really good.
How much?
I also appreciate you sitting down for the conversation, making us short guys
man.
look good. we'd have his belly right on the camera.
So how do you determine when you do innovation?
Like, how do I go, like, whether it's going to be innovation or a wholesale? We always start with a wholesale offer. I mean, that's my go-to. It's always, go for that, right? Like, it's we see it as another tool in the tool belt. It's not the primary tool for us, but it's, I have that. I used to have, and I was bumping creative financing right after wholesaling. I switched that to innovation. So we go wholesale, we go innovations, and then we go creative financing. So depending on where the conversation is at, we'll just, steer in that direction. But that's how we do it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Prioritizing.
Well, I want to lock in your numbers here real quick. Matt, if you give me over here. We already took that off. And what is your, we'll just talk about it. What is your, how many leads per month are you getting on average?
On average, we're getting.
Yeah, you can set up higher than that,
He's trying really hard to make us look good. Make us look tall. No, so we're still doing cold calling. So I have a cold calling
Raphael
campaign.
and I are 5'2" and 5'3". Yeah.
Yes.
You guys don't know that, but wait till you see us in real life. And Rich Wonders is 7'3". All right. That's why he's literally sitting on the ground.
he's in a, what do you call it? Meditation pose right now. No, but so we still get a bunch of cold calling leads in. On the PPC side, we have a stacked hot follow-up sequence. We started that a month ago, really. So the PPC is going really, really well. We have a one under contract from that. And I think we're doing, on average, a week, I think we're getting maybe 15 to 20 leads on the PPC side. Yeah.
So how many leads per month?
So combined?
Yeah.
Think 20, about between 60 and 80, I think we keep it.
A month?
Yeah, 60 and 80 leads, and then of course you have the follow-ups. And I have a pretty harsh like dequalifying process from the cold calling leads. So the ones that make it over to acquisitions, and we're actually working those.
So what's your lead to close number? How many leads you need
on
for
cold calling? 40.
Okay.
Cold calling, we're at 40.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
PPC, we're still working that out. I mean, we locked one up on the first. Yeah, it's too early. We locked one up on the first week, but those look really, really good.
Awesome. But any idea of leads per deal?
On the no, not up top of my head. I need to take a look at it, but I think 40. No, we're right around. I think probably about maybe 25 leads to a deal on the cold calling leads.
We're 22. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or for PPC. Awesome. Rich, do you do PPL?
I do some PPL. I'll spend a couple grand a month on PPL.
I see a lot of people doing nationwide PPL for novations.
Yeah, it was better a couple months ago than it is now because I think more people are in on it.
Okay.
But yeah, we do it because they're pretty cheap, and you just give them money and you get leads right away. So it's cool. It's like a supplementary thing, you know what I mean? But you gotta sift through them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So do you know kind of the amount of leads per deal on that?
Maybe like 25, something like that.
Do you just not know these numbers because you're just slanging deals and closing?
Bro, I just look for
cashing
closing
checks and snapping necks, huh?
Pretty much, man. I mean, I'm a hustler that started a business, not a businessman, honestly.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like the epitome of that. Like I check the bank accounts and I check the money coming in, but like that's something that's just not my strong point. Like I'm good at sales, but the other stuff like ain't really my
So
thing.
then do you just make decisions off of gut?
Yeah. And just talking to my team, because my team's got a better idea of that stuff because they're in the trenches. I deal more with like the 911 stuff, like saving deals, dealing with the realtors, spending money, all that sort of thing.
How much are you on the phone with the property owners versus your team?
Very little.
Really?
Very little. I'm mostly taught. Yeah.
Oh,
I've been
getting rusty.
Yeah, maybe I'm losing my touch, right? No,
Do you feel
I'm
that
more
at all?
dealing with realtors and with contractors and talking my guys through it. Because here's the thing: if I start taking on deals, then I'm absent from my team, and I'm better in a leadership position because I can kind of oversee it from a high level, help train them, and go that direction.
How long were you on the phone?
Ooh. I mean, since 2019, basically up until maybe like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago is when I started doing less and less.
5 years?
Yeah.
It's necessary, right?
Yeah.
To really build the skills, to really understand the process, to really like be able to look and recruit really good talent. You need to be in it. You need to go through that hustle season for a while. And it's a lot longer than people think.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
And it's a way too to guarantee success too, is if you can close deals, even if everything else goes wrong, you're like, I know I'm going to be fine. You know what I mean? Because I can always get leads, get on the phone and close deals. So
that's right.
Case in point, I mean, recently I had to drop a couple of acquisition guys. So we were getting, hammered with leads coming in. It was like, I'm an acquisitions guy. Like, I'm going to hop in and start closing deals.
Oh, you guys are on the same trees. You know that? Acquisition trees.
Oh yeah.
He was an acquisition manager for Sean Terry.
Yep.
You were an acquisition manager for Sean Terry.
That's true.
You came in right after me, didn't you? Like something like that.
Yep. They called you the $1 Million Man. That was your title out there.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from, but I mean, I did close $1 million like year after year, but I think Brandon was the one that came up with that slogan.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to your point, man, like it's really good to know that, hey, something we get bottlenecked or whatever, it can hop in and then knock whatever is needed and knock it out and then keep moving forward, right? I like your idea of staying focused on that consultant position to your company. I mean, you're focusing on your highest and best.
Exactly.
Right? If we go back to our highest and best on a daily basis, the team is going to be doing okay because we're focusing on, okay, what am I needed? That's my highest and best. Everything else can be delegated and you start, you keep moving forward. So I like that, man.
How do you guys choose the real estate agents you list your properties with?
So I call all the ones that have recently sold in the area because my logic is someone that sold a house like mine, near mine, is going to be the likely candidate to sell mine, you know? But you got to interview at least 5. Or as many as you possibly can, because the contrast is what tells your gut who's the best person. Because you can talk to one person, you're like, oh man, they seem great. And then you talk to someone else, you're like, oh no, forget that first person. This is the one right here. Because they're your partner. They're your dispositions department, essentially. So you need the best possible person to do that.
You do this interview over Zoom?
No,
the phone?
Just on the phone, yeah.
So you're just talking to them. Do you have a set things that you're asking them?
Yeah. And we have a script and a process for it because I've tried it a bunch of different ways. And the way I originally came up with intuitively didn't work nearly as good as the way that we do it now.
Yeah.
So before I would try to sell myself to the realtor.
Oh no.
Big mistake, right?
No. Well, I was a realtor for a long time. But yeah.
And we had the
if anybody was selling
results.
themselves, I was like, nah, this is a scam.
Yeah,
they're scamming.
Exactly.
They're doing somewhere. There's some seminar that they went to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And I learned that the hard way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And learn to interview them and get them to sell themselves to you. So that's the key.
Got it. And so you're just going through. What if they want 6% commission?
For both sides? Yeah. That's what I pay them. I pay them the normal fee, whatever's customary.
I usually go 2 on my agent and then 3 for the other one. So
5?
Yeah, 5.
5%.
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And you're fine with that?
I'm fine with it.
Because they're walking through it.
Yeah, because I'm gonna ask a lot of them. So I want to make sure that they're taken care of and everything. Because I don't know. It depends on the agent. It depends on the area. But my philosophy is like, if I'm looking for top talent, I got to at least pay the normal rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Got it.
Makes sense.
Why do you even coach this? Why wouldn't you just do JVs? It seems way more profitable than coaching people your exact strategy that they can go and implement themselves, as opposed to coming to you and bring it. Is your thing, hey, listen, there's going to be people that are going to do it anyway, so I might as well help them do it right? Or is it, hey, they're going to get in there, they're going to figure that this is, way more work than an assignment, and they're going to come back to me and JV with me anyway?
So, like, candidly, initially, it helped me get attention, and it was, there was only so many deals I could do.
Right.
So it helped set up my brand. It helped me get in with some really high level people that I'm still friends with to this day. I didn't have my own team in the beginning, and I didn't have a lot of money either for all that stuff. So it was kind of a natural progression of, all right, let me get all this knowledge in a set form, and then I can push this out. This will help build my JV stuff. But that's why, like, really my huge push now is the JV deals. Like, my course now is just for people that aren't going to do JV deals with me. So,
yeah.
Do you JV? Do people bring you novations, or you just source?
No,
them
not
yourself?
novations. I mean, we Dispo, we JV on Dispo with a handful of people. Because I opened it up for a minute, and then I was getting a lot of stuff that was overpriced, and it was just like, it was very, very junky on the dispo side.
Yeah.
So we dialed that back, and we have three people that we partner up with, and they send us their deals. We'll dispo it. So we do it to a point, but we have to have like dequalifying conversations with them.
Why not do the exact same model that Rich does here, where you just JV with people around the country, and you do millions of dollars and not have a marketing budget?
Yeah. I'm gonna take notes right now. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
But no, I think we all find like our happy place, right? Like, to me, it's I don't know. I like, for example, you have that process dialed in where you go in and then you talk to the agents and then you set that up. I feel like I'm really good on the wholesale side, and it's always been my bread and butter. It's like, all right, cool. I'm going to stick to my shiny object over here, and then just fine tune, be the at the top of that hill, right? And I think we all have our different things that we play into. So it's really good. We talk about this all the time too. It's like, hey guys, stick to the thing that they're going to be, really, really good at, and then bolt on additional strategies as flows. But you always know what your lane is, right? So yeah, I kind of made my bed with that. So
yeah, we're doing some interesting. I'm doing a novation in Scottsdale. It's a condo.
Yeah,
it's kind of original-ish condition.
Yeah,
but we got it at a great price. It's probably like a 400,000. I think we got it at 300. It needs, we're going to put like 15 into it. We are, take that risk, which, it doesn't sound like you get into that nitty gritty all the time. Maybe you do it here and there, but we're going to put the 15 into it. And then by the time it's 15, it could go for more than 400.
Yeah.
But is there anything, have you looked at a strategy that's like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is what we can do. I'm going to come in as is. If you wanted to sell this, your price is 300,000. But if I put 15,000 into it, we can sell for 400,000, and we'll split any of the top profits on top of that.
So I know there's people that
sweeten the pot type of thing.
This is my philosophy on it. It's not that won't work. I just I don't want to be business partners with the sellers.
Yeah.
Just because the whole thing, normally why they say yes is they want to be removed from the process. So, in our concierge service pitch, there is a hint of that, but it's not a split of the profits. It's we'll handle any repairs or anything that needs to be done, because most of the time they want to be removed from it as much as possible.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't know. I think there is a world where that could work, but then also now you're keeping them in the loop. They're going to have a say in what offer you take because they've got a vested interest in it. So I don't know. I know some people that have done some things like that. I see it more so on the higher end of things with a more sophisticated seller and a higher price point.
Right.
Because those people have a little bit more threshold for everything that comes along with doing projects and things like that. You know what I mean? The distressed sellers, normally, if we can get them moved out of there and into their next house, like that's a huge win right there. So I don't think I would entertain that, like a profit split with them, but that's just me. I got a pretty narrow lane that I like to stick to.
I got a couple of questions. What's your critical criteria for innovation? And I don't know if you already talked about this or not, but like you look
What
at a
is
deal,
critical
like
criteria?
what do you must have in order to go or say, okay, cool, this is going to be an innovation deal for us?
So anything we can't wholesale goes right to novation. So I mean, we have to
Does condition matter?
It's the delta between the novation price and the price we're confident it'll sell at.
Mm-hmm.
So we've made some crazy deals with properties that were not very nice. And we just had one, 2 vacant lots in Bradenton, Florida. We made, it originally came in as the house, but the house didn't have enough equity, but they're like, hey, we have these 2 lots that are adjacent to the house.
Yeah.
We got it under contract for $50K. We had the developer that was developing a house came and door knocked the people and tried to snake our deal for $50K.
Yeah.
Right. And then we talked to him and he was like, look, I'm the only person that'll buy it. Nobody's going to want these lots because of X, Y, and Z. I'll give you $55K. That's my final offer. If you don't take it, you're a complete moron, basically. We're like, hey, we appreciate the offer and everything, but we're just going to put this on market. We made $89,000 on that deal on those 2 lots. So that one we actually double closed. I just funded the first end of it. But
why'd you double close it?
Just because the margins were so high. It was, making $89K on a $50K purchase price. So I'm like, it'll be cleaner if I just close it because now I'm giving them a cash offer essentially. It's no longer an innovation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So depending on, once we get above maybe 60, 70,000, a lot of those I'll double close on if I can, especially if it's a cash deal. If they're using financing, then we don't really have that option.
Right.
If it's a FHA or VA. So
well, really at that point, it's just a wholesale deal that you close on.
Yeah. But I mean, we're still using the market, but yeah, the novation part's kind of out on that side.
Yeah.
Of substituting the contract. So
well, if you have a cash buyer, I mean, why not? That's do the double close if it's a big old deal.
It just depends because some of the MLS cash buyers are still non-investors. They're people with cash. They've got a retail agent that doesn't know what an assignment or a double close is and is terrified of it. So we try to because it's easier for us and it's cleaner, but sometimes we have to go the novation route. And in certain states where wholesaling is frowned upon, they don't want to deal with any of that. So we try not to rock the boat if we don't have to.
What's your math? How do you figure out how you're going to price an innovation deal?
So for the MAO, we just did it on the board. It's basically 90% of the current condition value minus at least 30K. But how we're going to price it is when we're interviewing agents, we get all their opinions on where they think it would need to be priced to get an offer within the first 2 weeks. So we basically weight their opinion on their credibility and our kind of impression of them. And then we kind of like compile all the data and figure out what seems like the most realistic number. But we tell them from the rip, like, we need to get this done quickly. We're here for a good time, not a long time. And we need to price it to sell. Like we want multiple offers. We want multiple options for buyers. We don't want to see how much the market will take because if you find that one buyer that will take your high asking price, now they have all the leverage. You have no backup. If they rake you over the coals in inspection period, you know what I mean? Right. Or if it doesn't meet appraisal, then you're behind the 8 ball, like you're out of time, you know what I mean? So we price it to sell. We don't try to make our money on the sales side. Our profit's locked in on the buy side with the negotiations.
Got it.
So
love it.
How about you?
Similar math, just I have 25 instead of 30 on the minus on the spread. Yeah. So I have a 25.
Got to make more.
Yeah. I
what
know.
Are you doing?
Push that envelope. I know. I'm sleeping on this.
What are you doing?
I am telling you, man.
Jeez Louise.
One job.
Get it pumped up. Well, awesome. I think we covered it all.
Nice.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? Anything you're working on, Raf?
No, just, deals and PPC is looking really, really good, man.
That's right.
The pipeline is is stacking and follow-ups, hot follow-ups are there. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how that's going to pan out in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, PPC. I mean, you get to the point where when you have the budget to be able to do it, it is a no-brainer. They're the best, hottest, fastest sales cycle leads, besides referrals, I will say. But PPC are absolutely incredible. So good. Let's bring everybody in. Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks for coming in. Guys,
Yes, sir.
novationjv.com if you want to work with Rich and get your deals that maybe, people want a little bit more and the property is in dated condition or decent condition. They just want more and they want it to be hands off. Reach out to Rich at novationjv.com. Bring it in.
On behalf of Luke and Rich and Raphael and Matt and myself and Alejandra in the background, listen, a calm mind, a fit body, and love in your home, and you are set. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Boom.